What's motivating you is the stories I'm telling you about what I did in my life. Once I stop living that, I'm no more. A lot of people say, trying hard. Your mind knows, man. It knows this guy's bull. I mean, man, this guy's lying. There's no truth behind it. When I was in Navy SEAL training, people go, how were you there for 18 months? The program was only 6 months long. You were in 3 hell weeks in 1 year. No one's ever done that. How did you do that? And I started literally writing down, let's say it's a math equation, the same math equation over and over and over and over again. When it came to a paragraph comprehension, I couldn't read a paragraph and then remember it. So we had like, I think 25 or 30 paragraph comprehension things. I had to write down the whole thing, like a whole paragraph, and you don't have much time to take tests. But that's how I learned.
Okay.
So how I learned the Navy Dive Man, it was like 1,000 pages, Navy Dive Man. I got it a year in advance.
Oh my gosh.
And wrote the book out probably 14 times. Like the Boyle's Law, Child's Law, Gay-Lussac's Law, Dalton's Law, all these laws, but over and over, the whole manual. So it's not like, so now I've done it so many times, I can go back in my mind and say, okay, page 71 was Boyle's Law. And I can go back in this, and I'm looking at it right now, and I remember writing it down so many times that it takes me to say, okay, I got it. And I can write it down almost verbatim, so that's how I learned even to today. But the work ethic, people think I became this guy from running.
Yeah.
No, I became this guy from studying. I had to study for hours. What might take you an hour to learn, take me 2 days. So that's where, in this, at the table, and my best friend Johnny remembers me like, God, you just changed, something happened. I got obsessed. So I take the test, I score high, I get in the Air Force. I talk about the new norm. When I lived in a $7 a month place when I was growing up for a short period of time, I loved it. I didn't know any different. That was my norm. Once we moved out of that place, we moved to a $236 a month place. I was like, I never want to go back to that little piece of shit. But if you go back to that $7 a month place and you realize this is where I live, this is all I got, your mind says, Roger that, this is home. So when I was going through Navy SEAL training for 18 months and going back through all the hard parts over and over again, I told myself after the first time, I knew it was gonna be a long journey there. My body was breaking down. It was just how it was going on. I said, you know what, this is my new norm.
Life itself is but what we deem it. Things happen, tragedy, disappointment, pain. But they are not what change you. What changes you is the story you tell yourself about what it means. An angry mind is a narrow mind, and in combat, a narrow mind is a dead one. Don't fight with rage. Fight with clarity. Don't be the storm. Control it.
So my mind said, it's like going to work. Like you go to work, you put your suit and tie on. I go into suffering every day. Every day, suffering, being broken, duct taping my feet up, stress fractures, shin splints, being broken. This is my new norm. And your mind says, if we're not broken, this ain't normal. We gotta be broken. So then your mind starts to get tougher and tougher and more callous. People, how'd you run on broken feet? Broken shins. My mind knew this is how we operate. We're in Navy SEAL training. This is what we are. I became hell. And that became my new norm. I gave myself no way out. And people call me dumb. My dad called me so many things, it's not even funny. Being beat just stripped me of all self-esteem. This is when I realized I was alone on this earth. Yeah. I have God alone on this earth, and I have to fix everything. So this is where I started to develop an indestructible mental toolbox. A lot of us run away from our fears. Sure. And we box ourselves in to a lifestyle of this is all we can do. Right. I'm afraid of everything outside this box. Yeah. So I'm comfortable inside this box. I jumped the box. For the first time in my life, mentally, I jumped the box and said, hey, I got to come out here and play. There was nothing outside these walls of hell. Nothing. I loved God, but for a short period of time, I became the devil because that was hell. I became the boss, the owner, the CEO of Navy SEAL training. That was my mindset. And that's how you get through things. You immerse yourself wherever it is, and you become that. You become that and give yourself no way out. First big problem is that you have put a lot of people above you. Put no one above you. No one. I put God above me. Besides that, there's no one better than me. Most people believe comfort is ultimately a good thing. Complacency is insidious. We have too many opportunities to settle. We get pacified, and we refuse to struggle against resistance. No one sits down and makes a plan for becoming obese. No one decides a dead-end job is perfect. And no one purposefully designs a relationship that leads to unhappiness. These things happen. They creep in on us. Every new rung you climb in the ladder of life is an opportunity to settle, to get comfortable. People stagnate in their careers, and some athletes never make it to the next level. They knowingly or unknowingly get soft and comfortable. The second you embrace comfort is the second you stop progressing, even if you have made it pretty far. We all have a fire in us, whether you are aware of this fire or not. It doesn't change the fact that humans are born with an innate desire to improve. The problem is that over time, we suffocate this fire. The average American spends 3 to 4 hours on a phone each day. The unwillingness to pursue discomfort together with the hyper comfortable lives we live lead to laziness, sparking most of our problems today. On a basic level, if you feel you should do something or desire to do something that matters, that is worth doing, resistance comes. We live in a soft world where you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. The existence of resistance cripples us. This idea is no different than lifting a heavy load for increased strength. If you want to get stronger, you will need to lift a mass. This mass will resist your muscles through gravity. If you do it, you will be better for it. The more you lift that resistance for the long term, the easier it gets over months and years. You will have to move on to new challenges and meet further resistance if you want to continue to get stronger. Fighting resistance for progress rings true in the gym and in life. Some people do not fight resistance at all, garnering little success in life. Others challenge resistance to a certain point and then get comfortable, never increasing the load. These are the people who achieve a moderate level of success, but who stop short. The effort required to oppose resistance will be met with an equal amount of success. Never stop fighting resistance. Never stop growing, and never ever get comfortable. I could end up here. You could go after things that make you feel uncomfortable and see results. There is some truth to this, but in the real world, it's a bit more complicated. The challenge is that you need to find discomfort in the right areas and the right amounts. You will need to prioritize your discomfort daily. Unfocused and occasional discomfort will result in some progress. However, the growth you see with this type of effort will result in a linear progression, and what we are chasing are geometric results. You don't only need to do something that makes you uncomfortable today. You need to put a focus on your discomfort, compounded in the same areas over decades. You may have to start small, but one area of discomfort will build on the next area. And as this happens, you will see more and more success. When you see a successful person in any domain, there is no doubt they have been pursuing discomfort for a very long time. They sucked once, they got uncomfortable, kept at it, and then they started to suck a little bit less. Over time, they went from sucking to decent. After they were decent, they became good. They then went from good to great, and finally to world class. The key is daily over decades. Pursuit builds success. Continuous daily pursuit is very uncomfortable. We all have the same building blocks. We all have 24 hours in a day to shape our future and build who we want to become. However, some succeed at a high level and others coast into mediocrity or worse. Today, you can have anything you want whenever you want. New technological advances are inspiring and impressive, but are we leading it, or are these advances leading us to a life of slothful ease? You need to concentrate your efforts and limit distraction. Embrace the suck and get comfortable handling challenges alone. But where do you start? What areas of discomfort will produce results? Of all the things you could be doing, what should you be doing? Comfort is like a baby lion. You take it on as an adorable little pet, and in the beginning, loving and nurturing it is no problem. However, as the lion starts to grow, you have to feed it more and more. Eventually, you realize this beast was never meant to be your pet. That cute face that lured you in now has sharp fangs and paws the size of your head. Visualization isn't simply about daydreaming of some trophy ceremony, real or metaphorical. You must also visualize the challenges that are likely to arise and determine how you will attack those problems when they do. That way you can be as prepared as possible on the journey. When I show up for a foot race now, I drive the entire course first, visualizing success, but also potential challenges, which helps me control my thought process. You can't prepare for everything, but if you engage in strategic visualization ahead of time, you'll be as prepared as you possibly can be. That also means being prepared to answer the simple questions. Why are you doing this? What is driving you toward this achievement? Where does the darkness you're using as fuel come from? What has calloused your mind? You'll need to have those answers at your fingertips when you hit a wall of pain and doubt. To push through, you'll need to channel your darkness, feed off it, and lean on your calloused mind. Remember, visualization will never compensate for work undone. You cannot visualize lies. All the strategies I employ to answer the simple questions and win the mind game are only effective because I put in the work. It's a lot more than mind over matter. It takes relentless self-discipline to schedule suffering into your day, every day. But if you do, you'll find that at the other end of that suffering is a whole other life just waiting for you. This challenge doesn't have to be physical, and victory doesn't always mean you came in first place. It can mean you finally overcome a lifelong fear or any other obstacle that made you surrender in the past. Whatever it is, tell the world your story about how you created your armored mind and where it's taken you.
I gave up 100 sets, and I had to work up to realize these are human beings with the same that I have. Yeah, some people run faster, swim better, but mentality is mentality. There's you're not gonna outwork me, so I'm gonna catch up somewhere.
It was not easy to maintain a positive outlook and commitment to working and training upwards of 18 hours every day for 6 weeks. There is a reason smoke jumping is a young person's game. I arrived in great shape, but I was using my body in a way I hadn't in years, and the torment was unrelenting. I was also mentally worn down. This was not the most challenging training I'd been in, but it was an intense struggle because I was a lot older and no longer who I used to be. A lot of people let a realization like that limit their future. They lose their edge and scale back their ambitions and expectations to protect themselves. They retire and quit pushing themselves into uncomfortable environments and challenging situations. Much of that has to do with the age passed down. There's a pass down for everything in life. When it comes to age, we seem to share a common misperception of how we should feel or where we should be based on a number, when sometimes the problem isn't chronological. Often it isn't Father Time that is fucking you up, but his brother, Father Fatigue. They say that you can't beat Father Time, and that may be true, but you can damn sure make his brother feel your resistance. And if you are willing to outlast the headwinds of fatigue, minute by minute, hour by hour, day after day, you can at least meet Father Time face to face and negotiate with him. Whenever I felt too tired or sore to get out of bed, I kept my eyes on the horizon and reminded myself that smoke jumper training is temporary. Some mornings it actually felt good to be so fucked up, because that was a sign that I was still willing to turn myself inside out to look for that blue deck line and do something that spoke to my soul. True, I was not the same David Goggins. I was a much better version. I used to think you had to be the best at everything to be great and to be a strong leader. And that's not the case. The valiant motherfucker is the person who faces long odds yet continues to try. When those young studs saw me running in the snow before work, it fucked with them. And when word got out that this supposedly bigger than big 47-year-old savage was stuffing his limp dick hands in the snow and placing them back on the letdown line for hours, hunting a physiological adaptation, It showed them what it looks like to refuse to be denied, what it means to be never finished. It reminded them that this opportunity was special and that they probably had a hell of a lot more to give too.
This is real, dude. This is real. And every day, I'm set back. I'm set back. I'm set back. I'm set back. So this is what I would tell your boy. This is exactly what I tell him. Every day you wake up, you're gonna probably be set back for the first 4 weeks before you lose to significant weight because of the mind's gonna be f***ing with you the whole time. There's no dopamine. There's no dopamine in there at 300 pounds. You got nothing. Your hormones are shot.
I made the letdown test day, not by much, but I made it. I dressed in under 3 minutes too. And while I didn't land or roll like a gymnast or ballerina, I proved my consistency and capability to the instructors and to Tom Ryan, both founder of the North Peace Smoke Jumpers, and graduated ground school. I can see it doesn't come naturally, Tom told me later. Like me, he survived a tough childhood and was drifting as a young man until he found smoke jumping. At 27, after a health scare, he launched his own unit and built a culture centered on respect and excellence. None of it was easy or came naturally to him either, which is exactly why I wanted to be there. It's good you're not a natural, said Tom. I can see you, Will, and I respect that.
You have to envision something that is more powerful than you. Something has to get you out of bed. And you have to create it. It has to be false. Because you're not it. You're a fat piece of shit. And that's the reality of it. So you have to create a false reality to live in that just to get to work on yourself. That's the reality.
I was focused on the fight to come. That mentality to always be looking for the next mission was a product of experience, but not only military experience. I've been discovering, developing, refining, and adapting that mindset my entire life. Many people snicker or smirk in disbelief when they watch me take on a new challenge, as if to say, why would anybody do that? The implication is that I'm doing it to get noticed, to fill up on attaboys or for a damn payday. Motherfucker, before you knew me, I was a Cub Scout, a fucking Webelo, and a Boy Scout. Before you knew me, I was in Civil Air Patrol and Junior ROTC. Then I joined the Air Force, I joined the Navy, I went to Ranger School, I went to Delta Selection, and now I am a North Peace smoke jumper operating from a remote airfield in northern British Columbia.
I had to miserably wake up every morning in the cold because it was Indiana, November when it started. I was miserable. This is your new life. Take it or leave it. There's no happiness about it. There's no peace behind it. It sucks. It just fucking sucks. And that's the one thing, if I could teach anybody anything, it just fucking sucks. And it's going to continue to suck. And then one day you'll get to a special part in your life that it might get a little bit better. But to lose the weight you have to lose, my friend, sorry, it's going to suck every fucking day. So when I talk to people, it's not sugar-coated because I'm not saying it from I was 175 pounds my whole life. I don't say much to those people. Maybe you're a piece of shit. Maybe you want to be nobody. Maybe you're happy exactly where you are in life because obviously you are. Maybe you don't have the determination to be somebody better than who you are. And if you want to live with that, I'll support you in that. If you're good with being who you are, that every day you wake up and every day you smell like shit because you can't wash your body well, and your skin's messed up because your health's so bad, and you can't put your clothes on right, you need help with that. You need help, like when I was doing, I need help wiping my ass. That makes you feel good? Nothing I can say to you. If every day you wake up with this, see, people are haunted. But if you don't have a little flame, just barely, you're done. I can't light it for you. And that's the harsh reality of this life that I want to get across so fucking bad. You can watch me, you can watch you, you can watch fucking Rogan and Cameron Hayes, all these motherfuckers. You can go to Tony Robbins's fucking bullshit, do all this, do all this. If you could keep going back and keep spending money and spending money and spending money with no results, you can wonder, wow, maybe let me go try out David Goggins. He ain't gonna fucking help you. You have to explore, examine, the insides of yourself. And what do you really want out of life? Your friend and a lot of people out here just don't fucking want it. So guess what? Have fun with your life. Go from 3 to 350 to 400 to 450 to 500 because you don't want it.
I passed all the evolutions, but inside, I was suffering. Each night, I'd fixate on the next day's task and become so terrified I couldn't sleep. And soon my fear morphed into resentment toward my classmates, who, in my mind, had it easy, which dredged up my past. I was the only black man in my unit, which reminded me of my childhood in rural Indiana, and the harder the water confidence training became, the higher those dark waters would rise, until it seemed I was also being drowned from the inside out, while the rest of my class was sleeping. That potent cocktail of fear and rage thrummed through my veins, and my nocturnal fixations became their own kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. One where failure was inevitable because my unchecked fear was unleashing something I couldn't control.
Anxiety and fear, I would find the strength and motivation to transform my life. The brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. But once you figure out your brain, you become unstoppable to almost anything. Yeah, you can't beat death, you can't whatever. Your brain is amazing. Once you feed it the right conversation, the right mental nutrients, the right mental supplements, the right internal dialogue at the right time, with the right hit, with the right proof of what you've done in the past, and you send that right to the right circuit, dude, you're a fucking beast. A beast. But once again, you just can't read about it. You can't sit back and be a theorist. You have to be a fucking practitioner. And in that practice is where that becomes proof positive. What I'm saying is like, God, like David Goggins, he's blowing my mind. What is this? He's not crazy. And so many people, a lot of people, it's funny, man. People want to know how I'm always motivated. It's the unseen work. What you just said is a true statement. Those are false dopamine hits that people are giving you, man. There's no belief in that. These are teamwork dopamine. Like, I'm out running at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, in the gym, long sessions by myself. That's real. How I'm able to just extract dopamine, the good dopamine whenever I want. Man, I've trained 99% of my life alone. No one pat me on the back. I did all of the work alone. And while I'm still hard on myself, I know what I did. So whenever times get bad for me, people, all this, who's gonna carry the bolts and what? That's real. I hate that people know me for that guy, because that guy is not every fucking day. Like, when they see me, they want that energy. That's not me every day. I can extract it immediately when I need to, because when you train alone, and I lived alone for so many years in this misery, and you're able to get out of it by yourself, I can take myself to such a level of real passion and purpose. And like, the feeling I get is something I can't even explain by myself. I don't need anyone. That's why people come to me to motivate them. No one can motivate me. I have a resume full of fucking motivation, that whenever I'm down, I'm like, oh, hang on, motherfucker. Oh, you know the truth. You know the truth. You know the darkness of the fucking dungeons and the fucking demons that fly. You know. And then from there, it's like, oh, okay, you were there. You know this. There was no one there to pick up the rucksack, to pick up the boat, to pick up the log, to go in there. It was you. It was you. There was no pat on the fucking back at 300, at 275, at 250, at 220. No, that was you. So those things that come out of me, that extract from me in the darkness, people are looking for that pat on the back. Where is it? Oh, I don't need it. Because what I've done is, in the fucking unseen work, I built Frankenstein. So whenever shit gets nasty, David Goggins goes,
You had nobody anyway, motherfucker. So see how I'm talking myself right now? That's me. That shit fires me the fuck up. That shit makes me fucking nuts. You had nobody anyway, motherfucker. Look around you. There was no fucking team. It was you. There was no weight loss program or mom and dad waking you up saying you can do it, you can be better, trying to build belief. You built belief when you had nothing. Rock bottom. You did that. So as times get hard for me, it'll keep going, man, if you keep doing it. But that is it, man. There's no sun. There's no glory. There's no carrot. There's no victory. But there is all of it in one. I just can't explain it real well to people, man. But what you get at the other end is something that you're always found. You're never lost anymore. Doesn't mean the journey's easy. Doesn't get any easier, but you're always found. Whenever you're the only one of your kind, you're in danger of being pushed toward the margins, suspected and disregarded, bullied and mistreated by ignorant people. That's just the way life is. You were born to fail. 5 weeks after Christmas, it had become obvious that my whole life had changed. The unexpected attention and notoriety that came with and followed the release of Can't Hurt Me was as humbling as it was disorienting. After decades of grinding in the shadows outside the public eye, I was now spotlit. I'd always felt most at home in the margins. During my military career, I'd go on my longest runs and rucks before anyone else woke up. While others were relaxing or partying after a hard day or week of work, I stayed in to study my dive tables, pack and repack my parachute, or run and grind in the gym deep into the night. Everything I did on my own time was for my own personal fulfillment and growth. I damn sure didn't do it for attention. Yet I was often misunderstood. I was carrying a boulder as big as the world on my back, just trying to get to the other side of the darkness that was chasing me down. I was terrified that if I stopped getting better, if I gave myself a break from any of it, all my insecurities and innate laziness would get the drop on me again. Anytime I felt physically exhausted or mentally zapped, I pictured that 24-year-old fat ass glaring at me with a big smile on his face. A smile that said, "I'm still here, bitch. I am who you really are, and I'm not going anywhere." I looked at each day as an opportunity to mine the negativity that had colonized my brain and became fascinated by the power of the mind and how it can work for us and against us. Often it falls prey to the merry-go-round of emotions and situational conditions that cause confusion and sap us of focus, force, and fortitude, all of which have a natural tendency to ebb and flow like the tide. Feels like it's slipping through your fingers. There is only one option. Recreate yourself in your own mental lab. Somewhere you can be alone with your thoughts and wrestle with the substance of what and who you want to be in your one short life on earth. If it feels right, create an alter ego to access some of that dark matter in your own mind. That's what I did. In my mind, David Goggins wasn't the savage motherfucker who accomplished all the hard shit. It was Goggins who did that. David was the kid born with one eye closed and raised scared and shackled. There is nothing inherently special about me. I just stopped focusing on what was holding me back and learned to use rejection, pain, and failure as tools to harness every available bit of dark matter in my mind, all my unused strength, passion, and desire. It was rarely fun. I suffered way more than I smiled, but it helped me create my alter ego. Goggins was powered by the dark side of my soul that refused to be denied, and he had one goal: to become the hardest motherfucker to ever live. We all have a mental lab at our disposal, but most people don't even know that they have access to a place where they can transform themselves, therefore they remain locked out. By the time they hit midlife, the doors are wrapped with a rusty chain and dead-bolted. The equipment inside is dusty and broken. Weeds are sprouting from the foundation and the roof. For 2 decades, the doors to my lab were locked too, because I'd locked myself inside. But after my heart scare, I realized that without even knowing it, at some point, I'd sleepwalked out of my mental lab, and the doors had shut and locked behind me.